Hello, and welcome to Introducing Me. I'm your host, Sarah. I started this podcast to get to know other people and lifestyles while discovering more about myself. Each episode, I will give a new guest a chance to discuss their background, culture, interests, or whatever they want to talk about to help increase all of our own worldviews. Today, I would like to introduce you to Aiden Gabor. Aiden is a former associate of a well-known crime family, first being approached by the Department of Justice as a teenager to become an undercover agent. Since then, and a life as, doing undercover work, he has written a memoir, found peace in the Baha'i faith, and has been diagnosed with ALS. So Aiden is here to share a bit about his life and the different paths he has taken. And I'm looking forward to connecting with him today. So thank you so much, Aiden. Why don't you go ahead and tell the audience more about yourself?
Sarah, thank you so much for having me on. It's an honor to be on your show. More about myself. Well, I guess you want to look at it. Everybody kind of says that it would be more of you'd see the cheesy movies on stuff like this. But I started out very young. My father was an associate with a crime family up in the northeast. And I grew up in that type of atmosphere. We'd have a lot of, gatherings where the moms and stuff from the old country would come in, and we'd have the food, and the kids would get together. And I was really big for my age, so I get in scuffles with boys 4, 5, 6 years older than me, and I held my own. And we get out. We had a dirt gravel road out by us. So it's more of a driveway, and after we went in the backyard of this one estate and gotten some pretty good fights. And that's how I started out young with this. And we'd have parties, and we had Eddie was our cowboy over there with the crew I ran with, and it started out when I was about 8. And we'd be at the parties, and we'd ask for things, and we'd see that. And they'd say, hey, go get me this. And then you learn respect at a young age. When an elder asks you, especially someone with his stature, asks you to get something, you just did it. And as I got a little bit older, he looked at me and he goes, Aiden, do me a favor. What are you doing? He goes, you want to ride your bike over to, he had his, I guess you call it garage, but it was a garage / like meeting area where kind of people went and they played cards and shoot the bull with each other and talk. And there was also a garage that later on in my life found out it was a shop. And they ran numbers out of there, prostitution, a couple other things. But it was a garage nonetheless. So I rode my bike up there, and he'd be like, Aiden, hey, do me a favor. Take this package, drop it off at this address. You know where it's at. And he'd kind of tell me generally where it's at. He said, don't talk to anybody. Drop it off. And then if they give you something, sometimes they were. I don't remember if this one, I bring it back. Don't look at it. And I'd be like, yes, sir. And I would ride my bike, just get to where I needed to go, drop off. Sometimes they gave me up something to return. Not, they said thank you and walked away. Ride my bike back. And I'd say, yeah, I dropped it off. Thank you. And he'd give me 20, 30, 40 bucks, depending. And I was 9 years old at that time. And I would, at that point, run to the candy store. Here I am a king at that time, And we'd run to the candy store with my buddies, and I would get all kinds of candy. And I would start doing it and kind of work my way up there, cleaning the shop a little bit. I still played sports, and I was still doing things, but I would caddy. But I told my mom I would go caddying, and actually I'd end up going to see Eddie at the place, at the garage, and I would learn things there. And as I got older, I learned how to drive, how to shoot a gun. Well, with these guys, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, And about 10 or 11, I met a guy named Nicky. I didn't really put him in the book, but Nicky was the part of the crew that if something happens, it was all end all, I guess you can say, with him. And he taught me how to use an ice pick and where's the right spots. And at the time, you thought, wow, this guy's weird. But yes, sir, you listen. He was an adult. And I worked my way there. And eventually I worked my way up, started driving ready, right after he taught me how to drive, and learned my way to do things with them and did things that we needed to get done. And I stole a couple cars because it was a chop shop. And At the time I sit there, I dropped the package off, not realize who these people were. But as I got older, I realized, okay, that's the mayor, and that's a police officer. The police officers would be in the shop. There were a couple of federal guys who'd be in the shop talking to Eddie. And I remember one time I asked, I go, you G-Man? He goes, yes, sir. And he showed me his badge. Another one, I go, you police officer? He goes, yeah, show me his badge. I'm like, oh, cool. And that was it. And I went and did my thing. As I got older, I started driving for Eddie, like I said. And then I started doing things. He said, why don't you start collecting? I need you to go with Dominic. Well, when I first met Dominic, he didn't like me. I just don't know, maybe he didn't like my dad, but he was like Eddie's sidekick, I guess you call him, his right-hand man. And Dominic would be the big collector. He would be out there and he would be collecting and doing what needs to get done. And he was an enforcer. The first time I met him, he pushed me down. He just treated me like crap compared to everybody else. And one day, I just lost it. And I went after and hit him with the end of a pipe that was on the ground. He turned around to shoot me. I mean, I'm looking at the gun. And Eddie's like, stop it. That's enough. And then he goes, you need to learn respect. And Dominic walked away, and Eddie's like, yeah, you do need to learn respect. From that day forward, Dominic kind of had so I started going, and one day, Eddie's like telling Dominic, we need to go talk to this guy. So I didn't know what was going on. So I went with him, and as we were in the car, Dominic said, when he hit me a couple months ago, yeah, I'm not going to forget it. And I looked at it, and he punched me. He was driving, and I was in pain. He punched you so hard, like this cartoon ones, your head was spinning. And I'm just like, whoa. And he goes, you know what? Next time I'm going to kill you. That's just a love tap. You got to learn respect, kid, if you're going to do this. I don't know what Eddie sees in you, but I guess we're going to do this. So I went there and learned how to collect from people. We go to little mom and pop places, and they give you protection money, I guess is the word that you would use now. Well, back then it was just collecting. And nobody ever gave it. Nobody ever said anything. There was a couple times I was collecting. I went with Dominic, and this guy stabbed me. And they took me to a local doctor, which happened to be a doctor I knew. It was a friend of the family. And from there I learned, okay, this is what you got to do. And I had a little temper. And so sometimes people would need to be reminded. And one of the things I learned is, they were now and then it's not, you see in the movies, you have a baseball bat and you keep one in your car, but you leave a mitt and a ball with it. Because then if you get pulled over, the police can't use it against you because I'm ready to play baseball. I have a bat, a mitt, and a glove. They're all together. So I'm out there ready to play catch or play baseball. And yeah, everybody says, well, that's what they all do in the movies. Well, we weren't rocket scientists. I'm going to tell you, we weren't the sharpest blades in the drawer. We did what we had at hand and what would be used and how to get around the law. You learn that. So I learned to hit people in the ankles. That way, when you knock their wheels out, they go to the ground. It makes a different type of sound. Rather than hitting the knees, and they don't get up. Once you take their wheels out, you got their full attention or full control. And I learned that young, and that was something that Dominic's like, wow, okay, kid, don't be doing that too much. I could really, but I did. I remember one time growing up, we had a guy was sitting there eating, and Eddie goes, hey, that MF over there owes me money. He owes me like 15 G's. I just started running. And I went and caught up to the guy, and I was beating the crap out of him, kicking him, head him down. And Dominic comes up. He's like, hey, slow down. Don't kill the guy. It's bad business. And he looks at me and goes, you still eating a sandwich? Are you kidding me? You're beating up this guy and eating a sandwich. I'm like, what? So he talked to him. We yelled at him. He told him, you better get it. This is just a warning. And he's like, what is your problem? We get back there, and he looked in there laughing. And that's how I got the nickname Sandwich. I hate that nickname. To this day, I hate that nickname for my entire life. But we just moved on from there. And as we started doing, I did whatever needed to be done for them. And it was a family. And you learned that it was family. You learned respect. You learned a family. And my father was busy, and he was never around. My mother was very much around. I was a mama's boy. And I learned from Eddie, who was my mentor, this is what he do. And he saw something in me, and he said, okay, you're going to do good. And so one day we're sitting there, and it was like I was 18, and he comes up and says, you got to leave. And I'm like, excuse me? He's like, no, the FBI came in, they've arrested Dominic, they're arresting this one. He said, you haven't been arrested yet. You need to leave. You have a chance to play football in college. You need to go. All right, I'm leaving. You're not going to see me probably for a long time. Just do me a favor, keep an eye, just check in on my son. He has a son. I said, yeah, yes, sir. And he left. That's the last time I ever saw him. I went to school. So Eddie leaves, and he leaves and he goes out of the country, and eventually he gets caught in Spain, I believe, or somewhere over there, and his wife turned on him. And so as I'm in school, these two clowns show up, and they're Sears polyester suits, and they're looking at me, and I'm like, who are you guys? And I was going to tell them to get up, and then you're telling me that, hey, we need to talk. Am I going to be arrested? No. Do you need one? Not now. You probably will be if you don't listen. So I thought to myself, let me see what these clowns want. So I went with them. We went to some restaurant that had this green roof. To this day, I remember walking in. And there are two agents from the Department of Justice. And they looked at me and said, here. They said, check out this. They threw a little package, a little envelope. And they said, check out. You'll love these pictures. So I open it up, I see me with Eddie, me with Dominic, me with Nick, me with a couple others, my dad with them and all that. And then they showed a picture of my mom with Eddie, my mom driving with Eddie, because his friends are the family, my mom doing this. So they look at me and said, you're looking at 70 years for all the things you did while with Eddie. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We got this new law called RICO, new law out there. He goes, check it out. You're a college boy. Go check it out. Read up. Go to the library. See what this is. And I thought to myself, wow, okay. What? But then I really didn't care about myself. And then they showed my dad. I really didn't care about my dad going to jail. Then they said my mom would go to jail. Yeah, that was a problem. That hit me hard. Because I don't care what any man says alive. We're all mama's boys. I called my mom every day till the day she died. I talked to her. And it really struck a chord with me. So they're like, hey, they take me back. They said, I want you to think about it. We'll be back. And there was 2 months, and I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I played like shit for football. And they came back, and I'm thinking to myself, well, what choice? I can't have my mom go to jail. So I came back. I go, okay, what do you need me to do? And Jackass is what I call one of them. Sorry, but it was one of the DOJ. And he goes, well, we'll let you know. We just need you to basically, it's early in the year. It's October. We want you to flunk out of school, like party your way out, party out. We want to party out of school. And we're going to give you extra money. Go play with the college girls. You sow your oats. Do what you got to do. Go do that. This is what we need. And then we'll talk to you. So I did it. Got back home in May and went to tell my parents, and they called me and said, yeah, well, we'll meet us. And we met like an hour and a half out at another restaurant. They show up, and I'm like, okay, what do you want? They looked at it, and he said, you did what you are. You're working what you need to do to stay out of jail. He says, this is what we need to do. We want you to get on this police department to be a police officer. And I thought, you guys are ass. You're kidding me, right? No, this is what we need. Just get on. And I go, for what? Undercover? I go, we'll let you know. No, we're not going to be, you can't go, you're not going undercover. You're going to go in as an informant. No undercover. There's no one there to back you up. I'm going to tell you this right now. There will be nobody there to back you up. It's all you. If something goes wrong, well, stuff happens. Not exact words. Shit happens. It's going to happen. If it happens to you, we're not too worried about it. But this is how you stay out. I'm like, whatever. So you tell me what department you got. And back then, it really wasn't hard. And the test isn't hard. Because if you're physically fit, which I wasn't hard. I never got the what happens if I don't get on thing. And they just told me get on. That was it. And they weren't very, other than they tell me A, and that was it. Not really chatty bunch. So I did. I got on. And then they started telling me after a month after I got the academy, you need to get close to this officer. Okay. So This guy, have you ever met anybody with an abrasive personality? That's what this guy was. He was the biggest ass in the world. You just hated him looking at him. You don't talk to him. He's so arrogant. And I hate arrogance. And so I started, okay. I started to one of the other guys. I kind of became friends. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go be, nobody wants to be his partner. I'll go be his partner. Like, why are you going to be with that guy? That's an ass. I'm like, I don't know. He's a good guy. So several months, almost a year go by. I'm riding with this guy and all this. We start going out drinking. And after a while, he finally looks at me. And we went out a long time. And that kind of started my darkness when going out drinking. And he looked, he goes, I know you. And I'm like, what? He goes, I know you. I go, great, I know you. We worked. He goes, no, I know you before when you ran with Eddie. And I thought to myself, I never remember meeting this clown. I never met this guy. And he's like, yeah, we met, I seen you, you were doing things with Eddie and you picked up some things with us. Wow, be at your age doing everything with that guy. The guy's like a legend. And I'm like, okay. And he starts telling me, he goes, that's what I want to do. I'm with the crew now. And he goes, start drinking. I'll tell you more later, man. I'm going to get to know. Some other couple months go by, and one day he got really drunk, and he goes, yeah, I did a couple hits for these guys. I'm going to get on this crew. I want to be like what you did. I'm like, what? You need to shut up, man. What the hell are you talking about? And he's telling me what he did. So I was sitting there, and then his wife was at the bar. He went to go get some drinks. She's crying. She goes, I don't know. Did he tell you? He told me he knows you, that he can trust you. And, oh, my, I don't know what to do. I'm like, you just need to shut up. You don't need to talk about this. Don't need nothing. So I ended up meeting up with these guys and telling me I actually got something now. He admitted to doing whatever. He said a couple of hits for these guys. And this is what he said. But I want to be honest with you. I really, if you want me to testify, but I would talk to the wife. The wife's about to cave in. She can't take it. I mean, if she comes to you on her own, she'll testify. And he goes, yeah. I go, but if you need me, okay. And he goes, no, because if we use you one time, it's one and done. We got plans. We need some other things from you. And I thought to myself, what? No, we need to do this. So going back before I became a police officer, I went home and told my parents I'm not going back to school. And my dad looked at me because what do you want to do? What are you going to do if you ain't going back? And I go, I want to be a police officer. He loses. He goes, you're going to be a flatfoot? I said, yeah. He goes, oh, well, and I didn't talk to him for 10 years. And that's where this guy even said that he knew, his name was Terry, that he knew my dad too. And my mom's like, well, Aiden, whatever you need, you do. So it goes on after I tell him what happened and all this, and then we get phone calls that the FBI's arresting, and so I'm like, oh. So people, it's like rats leaving the ship. People leave the department. I go into I put my resignation. I'm going to leave. And I met up with these guys again, and these clowns like, this time we want you to get on to this department. It's the department in the town I grew up in, where I used to run things then. It's like, you guys have a really sick sense of humor. No, this is what you have to do. I go, didn't I do enough? No. We'll let you know when it's enough. And not knowing still even then, and then I'm knowing that, they got stuff against me. I'm not sure what. They won't tell me anything. And I was too worried about my mom to work to make a difference. So I got in the department where I grew up, but it was easier for there because you had an interview, and I interviewed with the mayor and the commissioner, and like, hey, oh wow, he's known you all right. He goes, what do you want to be? You want to be a police officer? I go, yes, sir. He says, do you think you could toe the line? Do what you need to be done? Do what you're told? Yes, sir. Whatever you need me to do, I'm here. I am here to do whatever you need to, but I want to be a police officer. He goes, yeah, you were in another town over there? Go, yes, sir. Everybody's leaving. I don't know what happened there. I don't want to stick around. I leave myself in that mess. All right. So I got on. And so they started telling me over the years to basically, we want you to get several police officers that were doing different things, drugs, or narc guys selling drugs. We want you to look at the mayor. We know all they're doing, everything in there that you know that they're doing. And I'm like, why you want me? It's basically we're sending a snake into the snake pit. They trust you because they knew what your life was prior. So you're basically one of them because you knew you were they're on the take doing the dirty things. They're thinking they got another one. And figuring out, they honestly didn't care if something happened to me. So over a 12-year span, a little longer than that, almost 14 years, I should say, I ended up putting several police officers and politicians in prison, catching them doing different things and just giving them information to be used against them by them because they didn't want me to testify. They were just using me to get information, and they knew the right way to get that. And I did. And of that time with them, I've had the gun pointed at me, I'd say at least 15 times, put to my head and threatened me. One time we were walking up, and this one detective, who ended up going to prison for a very long time, turned as we're going upstairs, and we're the back stairway, and put his gun right to me. And I'm looking right down the barrel. I can see the curving inside the barrel of a Glock, looking right at me. And I'm lower than him, so I'm at a disadvantage. There's nothing I can do. And I said to him, and I look at him, I go, I know you growing up. He goes, what are you doing? What are you doing here? What are you doing? Are you an informant? I go, no. I'm here to do, you know what? I have my own thing going on. I had to think on my feet. I have my own thing going on. If you think I'm doing something dirty, you knew me, you know? I mean, you know what? Honestly, I was part of the machine, and I worked, and you wanted to be what I was, but you were a cog. You could be interchanged. One bad cop, another bad cop, it doesn't matter. We can get them anywhere. But I was part of the machine. If something happened to me, the machine went down. Something happened to you, who gives a care? We'll find another. So go ahead. If you think I'm doing something, pull the trigger and try and get yourself out, which I'm sure you can. But then you got some other people I answer to other than me. And he just looked and he kind of smiled. I went up there. My buddy Don worked at the apartment, a guy I grew up with. And Don unknowingly the whole time was giving me information or what he heard around the department because he kind of chattered. It's like when I did stuff with the crew, you had a family. You don't tell anybody our family. You don't say this. And I'm going to tell you, every time when I worked with the crew, I never said one thing against anybody, Eddie, Dominic, any of them. I ever did. If they ever asked me to turn on them, I would tell them to get effed. And police officers are different because they're bad. That's what I've got to realize. And I mean, I would never go against my family. But yet, over the years, they tried to kill me a couple times. And I put away bad police officers and stuff. And again, when people become police officers, they have a thing called the blue line. You don't cross that blue line. It's almost like a plan. There's men and women law enforcement. But then again, for every one bad police officer, 100,000 good police officers look bad in everybody's eyes. They're all bad. But I wish everybody learned that there's somebody out there to stop them. And that's what I did. I was stopping bad police officers and politicians. There is somebody that they are trying to get rid of them. So they're not all bad. Only less than 1%. And whatever ones you see, it's always only the bad ones being posted anywhere. You never see anything of the good ones, which is very bad in this country. And I just want to say, when you're in there, you don't cross the blue. And that's what got me. I started drinking, and I got into a very, very dark place. And I drank. I became a gulper, not a drinker. And I got where I would have just blackouts. But I remember vividly having this 357 Magnum, spinning the chamber, putting one in, a Magnum round, and I'd spin the chamber and pull the trigger. I know at least 200 times. Put it in my mouth, put it inside my head. The gun never went off. There's times I woke up with the gun next to me with 3 rounds in the chamber. How many times I did it without knowing? And I would see these vivid hallucinations of the St. Michael coming at me with the flaming sword saying, you betrayed your brothers and sisters, and striking me. And to this day, and that was a long time, I had over 10 years of that. I mean, I was in a very dark place. And for some reason, God said, we're not going to let you die this way. We have other plans. And I did that. And to this day, I remember vividly trying to kill myself, and it just wouldn't happen. I was mad that it wouldn't happen. But I and I realized I'm doing good. Get rid of these bad guys because you don't need that in society. These guys were not good. I mean, and I was not a good person young. And that's really, that's what I did. And then they wanted me to do it at a casino. I went and did it there, and there's nothing there. Then they just cut me loose. The other day's like, thanks, peace out. We'll give you a little stipend. And that was it. They're done. And so I just kind of stayed where I was at. And I was not a good dad. I was not a good husband. I was a very very dark person because I was diagnosed with no empathy and borderline sociopath, which meant my upbringing, just the way it was. If I heard somebody didn't bother me, I would laugh about it, just laugh at them. And I would watch horror movies with my wife now, and I'd laugh about it. When somebody gets beat up or cut in half or broken and all that, bones are saying, I think it's funny. And every day I'm working on that. And I don't know why, it just is to me. And I'm realizing that. Oh my God, you kidding me? And I do. I think it's funny. I don't watch horror movies because I laugh at them or very gory stuff because I think it's funny. And I think to myself, I don't need to see this. I've seen and did a lot of gory things as I was younger. And I try to kind of, putting on bad law enforcement and stuff. I did that. And then my buddy, Sam, came by, and I had a friend, Don, that really helped me out over the years. And he didn't know it until eventually a couple of years ago, before I wrote the book, him and I had a chat, and he beat the crap out of me. And I deserved it because he was giving me information, not realizing what I was doing. He's the only one that knows other than Sam. Well, my wife would call and talk to Sam, and she was telling him that, hey, he is getting night terrors. He is throwing me around the room. He's punching the wall. He's handcuffed me. He's done this. He's never done anything with a weapon, but he's just freaking out. You need to come talk to him. Well, Sam and Don just kept telling me, you need to be spiritual. You need God. I used to laugh. I used to say, that's stupid. Spirituality is stupid. God is stupid. I work for the other guy. I recruit for the other guy. I recruit souls for him. That's what I do. I have nothing with God. Like, no, you need to do. So I started reading. I said, you know what? Fine, I'll read it. If it shuts you up, I'll read it. And I started reading the Baha'i faith from Abdul Baha'i's writings. And they had one called the Paris Talk. And I started reading it. And something just struck with me. Wow. Really? And the Baha'i faith says everybody's equal. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, purple, pink, or green. We all bleed red. We're all the same. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. We're equal. We're in this together. Some faiths have it, women are subservient to the man. I never really believed that because my mom ran the household. I don't care where anybody lives, the mom, the wife, whatever, they run the household. That's who runs it. And unless you're, a very controlling person, and maybe a man would run it, but I think women run it more than men. That's how my belief was. And Sam said, hey, you're always a Baha'i. You never knew it. I was younger. I remember I would, at a Catholic, I grew up a Catholic. I'd go to the confessional, and I would tell the priest, well, okay, Aiden, you did something, what bad thing? I don't know nothing. I didn't see nothing. I didn't do nothing. No, you can't say I did anything. He's like, no, you need. I go, no, I didn't do nothing. I didn't see that. And he basically said, get the F out of here. Just get the F out. I pissed him off so bad. The father would tell me, leave. Just leave. And I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. And I'd leave because that's where it was. I didn't believe anything spiritually. But I started reading this. One day, I was reading one of his writings of Abdul Baha'i. And I thought, wow, okay. And I'm outside and it's sunny. Very hot day, not a cloud sky. I'm looking at the sun and I felt different. A very warm feeling, a very whole feeling inside of me. I'm still fighting my demons of suicide. I'm still fighting, don't drink. I drink a little today, but not like I was. And, medication stopped me with that. But I looked, I just felt this. I didn't like the feeling. I hated, I'm like, this feeling sucks. I don't like it. I went inside, told my wife, she goes, see, you're feeling so. I go, no, stop. No, I'm done, Sabrina. I don't want to deal with this. So I was feeling better. And Sam came and talked to me, and we had a chat. And at that point, I opened up to Sam. Now, he knows about 85% of what I've done in my life. Don knows about 90. Sabrina knows about 95. She doesn't really want to know everything. And he's looking at me, he goes, you need to write a book. I'm like, go to hell, I am not writing this book. This is my stupid life. I did stupid things. And stupid, you don't have to put everything in there, but you need to, for therapy, you need to do this for therapeutic. And I said, no, I'm not doing it. And then eventually it kind of wore me down. But I became very spiritual. I kept reading, and I'm reading that, we need to make this world better. We need to get rid of racism. We need to get rid of anti-Semitism because it's not good. Everything going over, you see this this Palestinian anti-Jewish thing. These kids don't even know what they're arguing about. They're just doing it because they don't understand Iran's funding all this. But nobody wants to open their eyes and see the truth. I was like that. I was in a very dark place. And I came into the light, I guess you can say. I walked out and I thought to myself, I can help people. I talked to veterans that have been through war. And I didn't go through war, but I went through stuff kind of like war. I've seen things and stuff that we would see on the battlefield, but that's not the same. But I still talk to veterans because if you need to talk. If you keep it in you, I tried killing myself, I would say 1,000 times because I kept it in. I couldn't tell anybody. For the whole time I was doing this, I was told by these two clowns, you cannot say anything. If you say something, you're going to prison. So that was beating me. And that ate at me. And that's where that conflicting loyalties part, because I was going against my brothers and sisters, but yet it had to be done. I was having very bad issues over it. And Sam's like, this is what you need. It's bringing it out. Sabrina Carl said he's getting worse, but it's better. He's just screaming now and yelling and swearing and doing all kinds of things, but now he's not getting as physical, but at least it's out. And that's how the book kind of came out. That's kind of what my life is the thing, and then I find out I have ALS. And then I would think, God does have a sense of humor. He's like, yeah, well, everything you've done, guess what, buddy? You're not done yet. Now we're really going to screw with you. And life's going to really become a whole bunch of rainbows for you. And I accepted it. When I was younger, I didn't care if I died. I really didn't care. If I die, I die. Guns pointed at me, shot at me, everything, stabbed. I didn't care. But after I found out ALS, I want to live to help make this world a better place because we are hurting. And that's how I was. I want to make the world better. People need to understand no racism, no anti-Semitism. And I was like that, My mom on her deathbed, when she was talking, she's screaming about the Russian, because she grew up in Budapest. Now, my mom, after she passed, my father and I had a chat. We finally talked. And he said, your mother growing up during World War II and during the revolution in Budapest, when the Russians came in, they did things to my mom and her sisters that should never, ever happen to them. And that really, to this day, when I heard that, I heard her screaming, because she lived with me as she was dying, about the Russians. They're here. Oh my, they're going to do it again. I didn't understand. And then I kind of figured it out. But my dad said, your mother was vindictive, that she became a partisan when they were at 10 years old. And your mother would sit there and go out there, and they see a little girl, the Russians come up to her at night, thinking, okay, what are you out here? And they were talking to her. And they were going to probably do something. But she stand next to him and pulled this long knife, which is like a long, just spear, and stabbed him through the neck. And she did it. My dad said that she was the most craziest one of all of us. She enjoyed doing it because she was getting back to what they did to her. And he said, I lost a number of people she did this to, And I read a book a couple years ago that this woman put out there. I can't remember her name. It's a very interesting book. I wish I did. I'm not great at memory. But that what your parents did as a young child, you kind of get, when you become a child, it's kind of hereditary towards you. My mom killed a lot of people as a partisan against Russians. Then they were in the revolution when they escaped. And I did not know that. She never told me, but I knew things happened to her when she was dying. And now I'm spiritual. I understand that, let's make this place a better world. And let's help each other out and do the best we can. Like my thing nowadays, I think this is better. I work with special needs kids. They're not throwaway kids. People think that these kids are something. If you look at the world through their eyes, they love everybody. Unless you hurt them, they remember that. But if they don't know you, they just want to give you a hug. And they're appreciating, no matter what they do, to appreciate that you're there to be with them. And I wish the world would look through their eyes just for a moment. Just like I wish the world would walk one day in a big town as a police officer, a man and woman, to see what they go through. Or even if, just to see, to understand that, you know what, they see so much stuff that it's unbelievable that there's not more suicide. But as far as like younger kids, if you look around their eyes, everybody's loving and they understand it. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or what, yellow or green. They look at you with the same thing. I love you, respect you. There is no difference. And I wish the world would be that way. And that's kind of how I am now. And I came from 90 degrees. I came from that dark, dark, dark place into the light and understand that I could try to make this world a better place. And that's kind of my life in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I mean, you can kind of really see why, you took the paths that you took and where your influences were. Your mom was very important to you, and so you were going to do what you could to, save her. So you weren't necessarily caring about, or it wasn't necessarily top for you to say, like, what about me? Because it was all, what about my mom? So I do have one question, just because, like, it wasn't necessarily clear. I'm just curious to know, like, did you at any point, kind of before this, say, coming to faith moment, where you were acknowledging and thinking, like, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing, and like what I'm doing isn't good for the world?
No. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been asked, do you have regrets? No. I probably wouldn't have changed anything other than when the two clowns showed up. I might have told them to get out. And then, so who knows where I'd be right now? I'd probably be dead. No, because that's the only world I know. I wouldn't know what it would be like without it. Now I do, I could be better. But I think if you seen darkness and you come out of that darkness and come into the light, you can be even more better in understanding. If you don't know what bad people think, then you don't know what's going on. Until you understand what is in their minds and what their mindset is, and that's called, street smarts and all this. You can say, I'm going to save the world, but what are you saving it from if you don't know what the dark side is until you've seen it? And I think if I can help people they're in that path to come into light, it will make greater, because people that have not been there can only have a half understanding. Just like I can only have a half understanding of a military person going through war, and that's how I look at it. I did kind of think, well, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have, but I wouldn't have changed it because that's what I knew. And I think it helped me as a person to become a whole person doing what I went through. There's some things, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done, which we won't talk about, but yeah, I think going through that made me really a better person overall. And I think you need to understand both sides in order to be a complete person. I mean, if you've never been on that dark, and I don't wish on anybody, but if somebody comes and says, you don't understand what I'm going through, man, you don't. I, but, I do. And you can get their thinking to change everything better, some of these people that I dealt with are extremely dark, but they're extremely smart. So they can con you into something. And I know when someone's conning, and I can figure that out. Where I have friends of mine that are extremely smart. They're book smart, but they have no idea what is going to be on that person's mind.
Mm-hmm.
If they walk through a bad neighborhood, would they know how to act other than scared? Because that's the worst thing you can do. If you walk in and act a little crazy or a little like, hey, what's up? I'm looking for this. If you give them respect, 90% give you respect back. I mean, some places maybe not, but yeah, I don't really, I believe in a God. I don't care. I think everybody needs to be spiritually active for yourself, for your mental health, for your spiritual health, for your body, your soul, because, the friend I got book called Soul Boom, and it's an awesome book, Rainn Wilson, and it's awesome. And if you know yourself as spiritually and help the world, you can make the world a better place. But if somebody has spiritually, they have a different, like the warmth I felt that I never had made me whole. It's that hole in myself that filled up with love and caring for the rest of the world.
And so, would you say, after the work that you did for the DOJ and where you are now, would you consider yourself a good person?
Um, a better person. you know, I still have, like I said, I still have feelings and these stupid feelings that I'm trying. Yes, I'm a better person overall. Um, would I do the things I did as a youth? If pushed in the corner, yes, I wouldn't hesitate. Um, but I believe in people, and I believe that we can make the world better. And yes, I'm a believer in that point. I am a better person. Um, I wouldn't do the hustling stuff I did, but if it came to protecting family, friends, or somebody on the street I don't know to protect them, I would do it in a heartbeat. Wouldn't even think twice. In fact, I've gotten into scuffles with people, road rage, going after other people, where I kind of said, "Yeah, you need to get back in your car." To this day, I carry a gun and an ice pick on me at all times. It may be a little different, but I've had attempts on my life. I've been shot a couple times, and I wouldn't hesitate to save somebody. So I'd say yes, I'm a better person.
Yeah, you've taken, a different life path. You're not who you were, when you were 8, 9 years old. And you're working towards, being an even better person. Now, you shared why you wrote this book, the influence you got for it. What has it been like sharing your story and putting it out there to be vulnerable and to say like this is the path I've had?
Terrifying. Um, you know, it's extremely terrifying for me because I don't know how people are going to react. I really don't. Some people are going to react, wow, okay, great that you found your thing. Some people will react, you were like that. You were that person that we hate. Mentally, I think it was good for me. I think Sam was right in bringing it out and bringing it open and talking about it. I think people need to understand too. I think part of it bringing it out is my suicide and my darkness into that, and that people need to talk about their feelings because the more you keep it in, the more you want to do it. Um, but yeah, it's been terrifying for me, extremely terrifying. And just for me to go on a podcast like this every time before I do one, before I got on with you, sir, I was scared to death. I never, to this day, I'm not afraid of no man. I've only been afraid of two people in my whole life: my mother and my wife, my current wife. They scared the hell out of me. And every time I go to do a podcast, I am scared like a 2-year-old. And I don't know why. It's just a terrifying experience for me. Writing a book with my ghostwriter I wrote with, which was an amazing man. It's a memoir. So it was one of those, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Oh, I forgot about that. And my wife would read, she goes, what are you doing? She goes, you got you at 16, then you're at 20 something, then you're back to 15, then you're at 30, and then you're back. She goes, oh my God, I can't even keep up with this. I'm like, it's a memoir. You're thinking things through. You're getting in there. She goes, it makes no sense. It doesn't flow. It doesn't do anything. So she rewrote it, basically. Sabrina was, I'm thinking, wow. She wrote it, flowed it the way it is today. And everybody after read said it flows perfectly. She said, yeah, let's not put that in. So we took out some things. Yeah, people need to know about that. But one of the promises I made for her when writing this book, which is terrifying to me, was that I would not let anybody see my face or my voice because I'm not worried. All the guys I ran with the crew that have tried to kill me, they're dead. So there's nobody alive. They have family alive. Most of them, those organizations are no longer. Their kids are so screwed up. But when you put away bad police officers and politicians, they don't forget that. Those are the ones that are nasty when they want to come after you. So that's why I'm mostly doing this, because I still have family out there. I have 2 sons still out there. I have an ex-wife, okay. But I have 2 sons, and and Sabrina's family, and she wants me to protect it. But yes, writing a book has been very terrifying for me, man.
Well, I appreciate, your vulnerability and your willingness to share your story and your willingness to put your book out there. I think it's important for people to learn about different walks of life, whether, they know that they're real, or they've only ever seen them portrayed in a movie. So with the fact that, you've made the commitment of, not showing your face, not hearing your real voice, is Aiden your real name?
No, it is not. If you read the beginning of the book, it says places, names, and people have changed to protect the guilty. Because everybody I was involved with, we were guilty of something.
Mm-hmm.
Usually not good. So no, it would change. And then there's a couple things changed, but lawyers say, yeah, no, you can't put that in. Yeah, no, that can't be in there. So yeah.
I figured as much, but the main reason I was asking was because I was curious if you have a story behind picking the name Aiden.
I'm going to be honest with you. My wife picked this Sabrina. She, she's like, I love this name. It's a Gothic name. It's a good Irish name. I said, okay. And then my mother looked like Aiden Gabor, and that's how I got the last name.
There you go. Got some good taste there. I appreciate you sharing that. It's always an interesting little factoid there. Now, before I start to wrap things up, is there anything else you would like to share with the listeners today?
One thing I do want to share is that if you're in a dark place, going through a traumatic thing or went through a traumatic thing, talk to somebody. You're a local priest, if need be, a community leader. Talk to them. You need to talk because suicide is not the answer. Because you don't just hurt yourself, you hurt everybody around you. And if you're in the military, there is programs out there. I know the military trains you to be a killer. And then, hey, after we're done training you to kill, go be a normal person in society, which is hard for people to come from one extreme to the other. And I understand that. But talk to somebody. I mean, I don't care if you need to go talk to a local law enforcement officer, but somebody, they will listen. Especially if you go talk to a local priest, a rabbi, go to your mosque, but talk to somebody. Just get it out there. Don't keep it in you because that's the worst thing you can do. A local leader of a community is a great one to go talk to because someone may have been through your situation. But that's why I just want people to know that you need to get out there and that there's people out there to help you, been through the dark places you have been. And also, spiritually, we all need to learn to get spiritually somehow. It will make you feel better as a person. It will give you something to think about, give you something to be part of. And to understand, whether you be a Baha'i, a Christian, a Jewish person, or a Muslim, it doesn't matter. We all believe in the same God. It's just looked at differently. There is only one God, but it's all looked at differently. There's messengers for each one. And we just need to listen. And that's what you need to do. Get out there and listen and work for yourself. Make your soul, a soul boom, work for your soul.
I appreciate you taking the moment to share that, as suicide is such a serious topic, and it is important for people to hear that message. Now, at the end of all my episodes, I do ask my guests a random question. So my question for you today is, how do you like to unwind?
Oh, wow. How do I like to unwind? Honestly, I like unwind with my fur babies. I got a pit bull and another crazy, we call her batshit crazy dog. And I unwind with my animals, my wife, sitting outside, or number one is smoke a good pipe and watch documentaries. I don't watch local TV because I don't like politics and I don't like what I see. So I watch documentaries or old movies. But yeah, that's about it. I will unwind with my wife sitting outside and our two fur babies, just playing with them. And we got a couple cats too. They're kind of a pain in the butt, but we're just spending time with my animals and my wife. And there I am. I'm happy as can be.
All right, that brings this episode to a close. So, of course, if you would like to check out Aiden's book, his website will be in the description. That is conflictingloyalties.com. That is the name of the book as well. So feel free to check out his website. It brings you to all the different stores and everything, and more information there. If you would like to connect with the podcast, our website is in the description as well. It brings you to all of our past episodes, past guest resources and social media, all of the good things. And of course, we are also on social media, which can be accessed through our website. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So if you want to go follow those pages, that support is always appreciated. And if you would like to support the podcast monetarily, there is a link to do that as well. If you would like to be a guest on the show, my email is also in the description. That is always the best way to get in touch with me. So thank you so much, Aiden, for spending time with me today, and to my listeners for taking the time out of your day to hear a new story. Until next time, bye.
Thank you, yourselves, and Beyond, and a lollipop to everybody out there. Thank you.